Hi everybody, it's Amy. I want to do a demonstration on layers. So I'm just going to play around with a few things and just show you some stuff because this is really important for you to kind of understand how layers work in Photoshop. And then it'll get you in the next practice, which is taking layers and making them and putting them on top of each other and figuring out how to maybe put something on top of this of a building here and put something next to the Space Needle and have something coming out between buildings. So I'm going to kind of show you that. So first of all, I have some images already in my Photoshop. I have my background image of the Seattle cityscape. I have a photograph that I've added, and then I have another photograph that I've added. So these are three layers I have. So let's say I want to put a picture of my dog right up here, and here's a picture. This is Bob. Isn't he cute? So if I were to just open this up, I normally just went File, Open, and I found the picture and I added it in here. A lot of my pictures are on my computer, so I'll just grab this photograph here as an example so you can see that this is the floating market we used in another project practice. So here it is. It's the floating market. I have a picture of my dog Bob, and then I have the picture that I'm going to work in. So let's say, and that's how I opened up Bob's picture. Let's say I want to select this whole picture. So I'm going to Control A to select all. Then I'm going to Control C to copy. And then I'm going to go into this image and I'm going to Control V to paste it. So that's one way I can take a picture of Bob and pop him in there. Now, one thing I did I want to show you is that I took a picture of him and I put him in a different way here. And so what happened was when I put a picture in, it zoomed into the background. And as you can see, that's the background here, and it didn't work so well. So you may have to shrink it down just a little bit before you put it in, or you may have to go to your picture and you may have to take the image and image size, and you may have to change that image size smaller because I think my image was like really large. So what happened was when I go down just a little bit, when I selected it and copied it, and then I went in here and I added it before it to see what happens. So I'm like, oh no, it's too big. So when I want to view it, it takes up the whole thing. It didn't work. So what I had to do was I had to go back to that picture and I had to go image size, and I made it like 8 by 10 or 7 by 9 or whatever. Make it smaller and then click OK. Oh, look how much smaller it is now. So I'm going to zoom in just a little so I can see. Then I Control A and I copied it, Control C. Then I go in to where I want it to go, and then I Control V to paste it. And as you can see, that's the way to shrink an image from another open file and pop it into one of these. You may have to rewind this video and watch that a few times and listen. You can put on closed captionings on the video if you want to, so you can take it step by step. You can do it, it's totally fine. So, next step is I want to just select Bob here and I want to transform him and put him on top of the building. So, I have my background and it's locked right now. I'm going to leave it locked so I don't mess it up. So, I want to make sure I'm working in the correct layer. So, sometimes what I do is I double click the layer and I rename my layer so I know that that's Bob. That's my dog. His name is Bob. Okay. Now that just zoomed in a little bit because I clicked on it because I have this selected, the zoom tool. So if you want to change that, you can go down. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to select Bob. So I'm going to try this new object select tool. It's a really nice tool. And then when I hover over the tool, remember, it tells you what it does. Finds and automatically selects an object inside a defined region. How cool is that? So I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to select Bob and see what happens. Now it's slow because I'm projecting and recording at the same time. There we go. Look at that. It selected almost all of it except for this little part of his ear. Sometimes that happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I'm going to choose quick selection tool. Let's see if by chance it allows me to add a little bit onto it. And it does. That's the way to fix that. So it's the plus and then adding it on. And that looks like we've got most of them. So I'm going to go ahead and Control X to cut. Oop, I just cut Bob out. Now I'm going to paste, and there he is. He's in a new layer. So I'm going to call him New Bob. Okay. So then I'm going to take my move tool and I'm going to move little Bob over there. Sometimes I call him Bubbles. So anyway, he likes both names. Then I'm going to hide the layer that I don't want. Okay, there's Bob. Look at him. He's so cute. Let's go zoom down a little bit so I can see Bob in the city. Now, I'm going to make sure I'm on New Bob and I'm going to move him over. And let's say I really want him to be on top of these buildings, but he looks like he's a little bit too big. So I'm going to have to shrink him down a little. So I'm going to go Edit, Transform, Scale. And I'm shrinking him. There he goes. If I want to move him around a little bit, I can. Okay, there he is. I could even make him really small and put him on top of there. I could make him balancing between two buildings. Oh, I like that. I'm going to make him balance between two buildings. There he is. Oh, what a cute doggy. Okay, there he is. Now I'm going to save my work. Control S. For this one, I'm going to go ahead and save the cloud because that is easier for me at this moment. I'm going to call this one Rainy Bob in the city. Oh, I could probably spell it right. Bob in the city. Okay, there he is. Bob in the city. Saving it. Okay, so there we have Bob. He's transformed and he's shrunk down. Now let's say I want to put something else in. Let's say I have this floating market and I'm like, oh, I really love this boat. It's so cool. If this boat was going down the street right here, okay? So I'm going to go back to my boat and I'm going to try that tool again that I used, the object selection tool. I don't know how well it's going to work with lots of stuff going on. And I did. Oh, I did. Hey, look at that. I got it. So I'm going to copy it this time. I'm going to go back to my other file and I'm going to paste it. There it is. Look how easy that is from one file to another. Open a file in Photoshop, copy and paste it right in. So then I'm going to move this. Now, I think what I really want to do is I really want to hide everything right now. And I want to adjust just this picture. So I'm going to go Image, Adjustments. And I want to move the vibrance up on this because it's not vibrant enough. Oh, there we go. That's better. And I'm going to saturate it a little. I want it to show up really well. Okay. Now, there we go. See that? Now it looks a little fake, but that's okay. Now I can see all my layers. I'll fix that again later. I just want to really be able to see it well. So now what I want to do with this is I kind of want to shift it over. So I can't really do that. I want to change the size of it and I want it coming down this street, but I want it at this angle, not this angle. So once again, I have to go to Edit, Transform. And I think for this one, I need to rotate. So I'm going to rotate it. I want to move it and see if that's the right correct angle that I want it at. Yeah, I want that boat coming kind of straight down. Okay, then I'm going to hit the Enter key. Now what I want to do is I want to transform it a little bit differently. I want to skew it a little bit because I want it to kind of look like it's coming down the road and maybe elongate it. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to make it smaller. And let's scale that. And I'm going to make it smaller. I'm going to move it down. Okay, and it looks like it's at a kind of a funny angle or I didn't quite get it the way I wanted. So I would go back and I would rotate that again. Let's try it one more time. So, use whatever tools that you want. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. So there we got the boat. And then I go and I choose something else and I put it in here. Now, if you want to make this seamless, don't worry about it right now. This is just practice. But if you wanted to, you could go and clean up little edges here. You can also filter things. Like Bob is really clean and crisp compared to this. So maybe what I might want to do is go to the filters and maybe I'd pixelate him just a little bit. Maybe where I can unsharpen him. I don't know what I want to do. I'll have to play around with a little bit. I don't really want to distort him. Maybe I could add some noise. Add some noise to him. There he is. Okay. So noise adds a little bit of pixelation. Okay, and I'm going to click all right, and then I'll zoom down. Okay, so there he doesn't look as fake, and I could do the same to that. So that's noise. All right, so that's adding layers on top of layers. Now, what if I wanted to take this image and I wanted to put the whole image on top and I wanted it to show up, or maybe I wanted just this section right here and I wanted it to show up on top of this. So I would copy this, Control C. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to paste it. Now here it is. It's there, but let's say I want to change the opacity of it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure I know that this is the boats. So I'm changing the name of it. And then I'm going to go right here where it says opacity, and I am going to adjust the opacity on that. So I just see a little bit. So I'm seeing a hint of it. And I can do the same with Bob too. I can go to the new Bob, which is really nice. In the new Photoshop, it actually finds the layer that you're on. I forgot to name that layer, but let's click on new Bob. If I wanted to change the opacity on Bob so he's kind of see-through, I could totally do that. So there's a ghost of Bob. Okay, so I hope that helps you to know how to put more than one thing in an object at a time or in a file at a time. And then don't forget to save your work as you're going. You're going to need this skill because our next assignment that you're actually going to be doing for a summative grade is going to be a dreamscape, and you're going to be putting all kinds of things like this in it. But for now, I want you to practice, and you need to show your learning by creating something that has multiple files together, and you can show me that you can do something like this with Bob and something like this with a boat. Okay, so you're going to be taking 3 images and putting those 3 images together in one file, and then you're going to be putting it in a OneNote turn-in page, okay? And so I'm going to be gone, so Sylvia is going to be helping you, guide you on this. You're going to learn so much during it, and I recommend that during the asynchronous time, you log on and you go to a Teams channel and you chat with people in the class and get some help if you need help, and get look at some tutorials and just practice around with the program. Okay, good luck and have fun.